questions I've been interested in asking. First, why the accordion? Where did it come from within your life? How did it start?
In my life,
Yeah.
my older brother, who is my half-brother, Michael Fernino, was performing on accordion and playing with my uncle in some bands and stuff, and he decided to start his own music studio. And he offered the accordion to both my sister and I. And I said, nah, it looks like way too much work for me. I was about, I guess I was 6. I was 6. And I said, nah, it's too much work. But Julie decided to start. And she would go for her lessons every week. And summertime came, and if she had a good lesson, she got a little reward. She got some ice cream on the way home.
Nice.
Guess what? The ice cream looked really good. I said, I should rethink this a little bit. And I decided to start. And yeah, so I started about a year after her, and she was a year younger than me, so.
Were you exposed to any music or instruments before that?
No.
Okay.
No, my parents did not play. My dad doodled with piano a little bit, or organ basically, but we didn't have one. You know, it wasn't like we had it in the house or anything, so no. Really.
So this was your uncle teaching you?
My half-brother.
Half-brother.
Brother, yeah.
And how long did that go for?
I was taking lessons and I started teaching for him when I was 12 or 13. We started giving makeup lessons and helping students out, and I studied until I was almost 30.
Was he your only teacher?
Yeah. Aside from the professors that I studied with professors from Yale, from Denver, from Peabody, Indiana University. So, you know, I studied with a lot of professors privately, but Mike was basically my really only accordion teacher, ever.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little different than most people.
For some reason I thought you were involved with Rossini.
No. He's one of the accordion giants that I actually never met.
Oh.
We knew Mignanti, we knew Carozzos, we knew Ettores, we knew, you know, all the Gallerini and, you know, all the major names, and they judged us all the time. But Frazzini was one I never met. Only knew Maddalena from, you know, his protege. That's it.
Then when did you start competitions?
Less than a year after I started, we did our first competition.
Was that an
I
AA?
played Trickling Keys in the AAA in November, yes. And I came in 3rd when I played Trickling Keys. And that was one of my very few 3rd place trophies in my life.
Was your sister also competing then?
We both started at the same time, yes. That was our first competition.
And your brother also plays?
My younger brother.
Yeah.
My older brother was my half-brother, and he's the one that taught me.
Mm-hmm.
My younger brother also plays, yes.
And he started lessons around this
No,
shortly
he
after?
started probably 3 or 4 years later. He was about 8, I guess, when he started, which would be, yeah, about almost 3 years later. After I started, he started.
And were you competing yearly then, or?
We competed in everything that was possible. We would compete at least 3 times a year, because the AAA had their summer festival. They had a November competition. It was always called the Eastern Cup. Then there were other things. We did ATG. We did, there was an Eastern, I've forgotten the name of it now, but there were 2 or 3 other associations, plus the Connecticut Association. We started up shortly after, and we were involved in that. We competed every single year. At least 3 a year, sometimes 4 or 5.
You were being trained by your half-brother.
Mm-hmm.
Were you the only students?
Oh heavens, no. He had a very large school.
Wow. What was the name
We
of
had
the
Fernino. First it was Ansonia School of Music, and then he bought a building and he called it Fernino Music Studio. Okay, and we had hundreds of students every single week.
Was that in Connecticut?
Ansonia, yes, right where I grew up, lived the whole time until I
So,
moved here.
competing for you, was it nerve-wracking? Did you have stage fright? Was it just something you accepted and you enjoyed?
All of the above. There were times in my life when we just did it because we did it. You know, it was just part of what we were expected to do, and you practiced like crazy to get there and to be your best at all times. And I find that even with all of my students, as you get into the teenage years, especially like 14 to 16, 17, the sense that you get from the audience starts to affect how you play. So you become a little bit less confident in yourself at that point. And then I would get a little bit nervous there. And then after that, you know, once again, you know, you accept it. When you're in those teen years, it's so important what your peers and what people think of you, that, you know, you put an awful lot of stress on yourself. And I teach my students today to really, to think about it. You know, why are you doing this? Why are you playing? Why do you want to compete? And
Do your students today have the same enthusiasm that you had? Is it different?
oh, there's a
Attitude?
huge difference. Okay, kids today are they're extremely good at multitasking. Okay, actually, they amaze me sometimes. The things that they do, and you know, they're doodling and practicing while you're talking to them, and it's kind of like you're not listening, and then they can repeat everything you said in exactly the way you said it. So they were doing this, but everything still is working, and it's amazing sometimes. So they're extremely talented in other ways that we didn't even think about. You know, it was like, this is what you're going to do. You focus on that. This is my time right now. It's all focused. They're, on the other hand, all around the world. They're watching videos while they're practicing. They're doing homework in front of the TV. You know, all these kinds of things. The brain separates into all those pieces, which we didn't believe in.
So even though it might seem like a distraction, they seem to still grasp on the discipline of practicing.
Amazing. Yes. Yes. A lot of it comes also with the correct approach when you're studying. You know, teaching a student how to practice, how to accomplish the most in the least amount of time is really, it's a skill. And I'm happy to say that most of my students can do it, so it really works good.
So how long have you been playing now?
Oh, that's a leading question. How long have I been playing? I started playing when I was 6. And I don't even know how old I am right now. I don't remember. But I've been playing for, good Lord, 60 some odd years.
There was a time that you took a break, or you always performed?
No, I did stop playing for a while. After the Coupe Mondiale, the World Championships, there really wasn't anything in it to do. There were no concerts available, you know, there really was nothing that just came to you, all right? Contrary to popular belief at that point, my brother sort of felt that if you were good enough, they were going to come and knock on your door, and that, we all know that doesn't happen. So we got a little bit discouraged and didn't do that. But I've been teaching the whole time. I didn't play for many years. I didn't play for 10, 15 years. Didn't touch my accordion.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And it was my husband who decided that, because every once in a while Julie and I would pick up the accordions and just sit down and play stuff. You know, things that we learned when we were kids that we hadn't played in 2 years, and still just whip them right out, you know, no big deal. So he made sure that I didn't give it up, and he got me back into it. started my studio, and playing in a band and doing all kinds of crazy things with my instrument. My good old accordion. It's the same one.
Same
I've had
one?
this accordion since I was 18. I bought it when I was 18, partially with the money that I won in competitions. So this instrument has been with me for almost my entire life.
The students you have, is there a wide age range, or is it, do they usually fall into a small category?
Right now, years ago, I mean, I had students that were 3 and 4 years old, all the way through, older senior adults. Right now, I don't have that. Most of the students I have on accordion are teenagers. Yeah. We need to find a way to introduce the young kids to it and get them involved. Unfortunately, at this point, I travel so much that I'm not here enough. When you start a new student, especially on accordion, you need to be here all the time. You need to be at that lesson every single week. You can't be off for 2 or 3 weeks and think that that's going to help. It doesn't. It discourages them very quickly.
Is the draw of students to an accordion today, is it less than it used to be? Or do you see something, a resurgence?
No. Honestly, kids look at the accordion and after their first initial, what is that?
Yeah.
Okay. And once they're totally attracted to the accordion. Totally. The problem is the parents, and because a lot of times when we perform for kids, it's in a school situation where the parents aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a concert and maybe we get a couple of kids come with their parents to a particular concert, but you don't get large groups of kids involved. The only time you get that is when you're at a school and there's no contact with the parents, and the parents are resistant. They have a piano at home, you're going to play piano.
Mm-hmm.
Kids may want to play the accordion, but we've got a piano, you're going to play piano.
The selection of music they have for the accordion today, is it still up to date for the kids, or do they want to see something different?
There's a multitude of music that's available online, and when the kids really want to do something, they're going to download that music, they're going to get it, okay? And it's very easy, once they've gotten past the beginning stages, to be able to take that music, whether it was written for piano or whatever, and to be able to play it. So the music is there, they have to go get it. It's really silly for me to try to pick something that they're going to like, because I don't listen to the same stuff that they listen to. So, they have to pick and choose that by themselves. But the basis of music, for learning purposes, for technique purposes, there's a multitude of stuff out there. A lot of the stuff that I used when I was a kid is not available. I may still have one copy of it that I guard with my life, and still use it because they're good training pieces, but there's not a lot of that stuff that's available.
Is there a method that you use, a specific method? Arietta or the Palmer Hughes?
I've used the Palmer Hughes as a basis most of my career, but I've used so many others too. There's a Mel Bay, there's the Arietta book, there's Santarella has a book. There are some books from Europe that I use combinations of all of those. There's a Mignanti course, and every once in a while I throw in some of the stuff that comes out of that. So, I kind of address it with each student individually. It depends on what they need, what their background is. If they're coming to accordion but they've already played piano or they've already played lots of other orchestra instruments, we're looking at a whole different ballgame. So. It's different.
Are you not hard, but do you like to also stress the basics of scales, what do you call it? Exercises.
Exercises.
Do you still emphasize that, or is it just playing
Oh, no,
technique?
Well, I have a system of work, and my students know that there are 3 parts to every practice session. Your warm-up time, your new work, and your review work. Your repertoire, however you want to call it, okay? And each practice session should be separated into those groups. Each one helps the other. One without the other, it's like eating without food. You can make believe, but you're not going to succeed. If you cannot do exercises that address a particular technique or style, and then you come to that in the pieces, how on earth are you going to execute it? So you're going to work 50 times as hard to learn it in a piece, because now you're involved with notes, you're involved with dynamics, you're involved with fingering and keys, rather than an exercise which is repetitive, so the brain absorbs the process faster. So yes, I definitely advocate warm-ups, new work, when your brain is still fresh after you've gotten your fingers limbered. You know, we're like athletes. Just because we use these muscles doesn't mean we're not athletic. We are.
And do you emphasize a certain amount of time per practice? An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours?
It depends on your mission and why you're doing this, you know. We can't ever, especially with kids today, like I was saying, they're involved and they're doing everything. They do all these things at school because they're expected to. They're expected to be into all the plays and the dramas if they're going to be in the arts in any way, shape, or form. So they have to do all this stuff. They need to do a little bit of sports. So their time is minimal. Do I dictate to them that you need an hour a day? No. With the little kids, I tell them they don't have to practice every day, only the days that they eat. And then they look at me like, huh? You know, but that's what we want. That's not what we get. And, you know, you have to learn to accept what you get and work with it from that point. Because kids these days do not have time
When you
to
started
practice
then,
7 days.
and when you started, when you picked up the accordion, did you decide at some point, this is what I am going to continue with? This is what I want?
Oh, I knew right away.
It was.
I had by the time I was 10, 11, I had my goals for my life. I knew exactly what I was going to have. I was going to have my own music studio. I was going to have a great big house. I mean, all these things, you know, your teenage dreams. And I got everything I ever dreamed about. I got it all. So I can't complain. My music's been very good to me. Thank you, accordion.
Excellent. Okay.
So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Let's move in. Let's move it. So, anytime you're ready.
Welcome to the American Accordionists Association YouTube channel, where you can hear some of the outstanding performances by competitors and artists alike from the many happenings in the accordion world here in the United States. Feel free to connect with our website as well. Go to www.ameriaccord.com. There, you can browse through our event details, read about our rich 78-year history, and even the current newsletters to keep you up to date on what is going on today. We hope you enjoy our AAA YouTube. We hope you enjoy the AAA YouTube channel, and we hope that you will join us as a subscriber to the channel and also as an AAA member. Let's make happy music together.
I'm going to make 2 changes. We're going to do that again.
Okay?
I want to raise this a bit. How do I raise
Okay.
this?
Oh. This one?
Just pull?
Goes this way.
Yeah, I want to raise it a bit because your eyes are down and I
Okay.
can see a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to pull this in a little bit
Okay.
because you're looking, seems, I
Uh-huh.
want them almost
Okay.
at the camera.
I see. Yep. Okay. Okay.
Let me just fix this.
That was funny.
Here we go. Neither do I.
Okay.
That's better.
Is that better?
Let me see. The question is, we want just the face, the head, the shoulders, a little bit of accordion. I think that's a little better. See, the thing moved over here. I'm not really know if I'm going to be using this side, but I always like to have a little more, just the possibility of another position.
Okay. You're the boss.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Welcome to the American Accordionists Association YouTube channel, where you can hear some of the outstanding performances by competitors and artists alike from the many happenings in the accordion world here in the United States. Feel free to connect with our website as well. Go to www.ameriaccord.com. There you can browse through our event details, read about our rich 78-year history, and even the current newsletters to keep you up to date on what is going on today. Enjoy our AAA YouTube channel, and we hope you will consider joining us as a subscriber to the channel, and also as an AAA member. Let's make happy music together.
Good. That one I like too.
Okay.